So, Alice, you just did an experiment for Dennis McKenna.
Yeah.
And he sent me a tincture of B Caapi, which is an inhibitor of the DMT inhibitor in the body. So the idea of the experiment is to see if under the Ajna Light you get more of an effect, the DMT kind of effect, after taking it.
Yeah.
So we did it scientifically. You did alpha journey beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
Then you did 1 drop of full of the tincture and then alpha journey. And then you've done the second and then alpha journey. So when I read your energy, it feels like you're floating.
It's a bit.
So would you like to tell me?
Stoned or something.
Okay, compared with your DMT experiences, what's going on in your body?
It was. I mean, the veil was very thin, so it wasn't like an extreme. I went somewhere, but there were. How do I explain it? There were veils, and there was a shadow walking away, and I was like, no, don't walk away. I want to come. I want to go with you. And then it was walking towards me, and it kept getting bigger, but in flashes. And I don't know what happened. I don't know how close it came to me, but the beings would always be in the center point. So there was a hole, and then there'd be a veil of a shadow, and they'd be walking around. And I didn't communicate with them as such. I would sort of say, I actually want to go with you. I want to be where you are because it feels more real. And I was thinking about Earth and how it's quite difficult to be here sometimes, but where they were, it felt, even though it was a bit scary and totally unknown, I wanted to go with them, and I wanted to be there because it was real. But at the same time, it wasn't this crazy intense, like going into space. It was soft, and it was, I want to do ayahuasca actually. Yeah. Okay. So I think that's.
So it's more. That is the DMT experience. It's not the hypnagogics. That's all the flashing colours.
Right.
DMT is a spirit connection, a spirit molecule, and so, particularly if you're more of a person who has an experience of the other worlds, and more connection as a child with them, it takes you there.
Right.
So, again, this is just subjective.
Yeah.
But you feel to me different to normally when you get off the light.
Yeah, I feel different. I felt it on the second time. Yeah, the second light trip. So after the first dropper. But I wasn't sure if I was controlling it, but the second time it was like walking through a crowd of beings after a while. And they weren't really communicating as such, but they were walking through. But it was a thin veil, fuzzy. But they were there. They were black outlines of beings.
And that's different to your normal light journey?
Yes, yeah.
Very different.
Even the patterns were more detailed, I think. Even more complex, I suppose, or more... Wow.
Thank you, that's great.
No, thank you. Thank you, Dennis.
Hello, Barnaby. You've just helped me with a science experiment. Dennis McKenna sent me some B Caapi or B Caapi extract. It's a tincture in alcohol, and he wanted to see what the effect of the Ajna Light was with the B Caapi. So B Caapi is an inhibitor of the inhibitor of DMT in the body. And could you tell me what happened? You did 2 journeys. What happened?
Yeah, I had a 1 dose of it in the dropper, and then I did an alpha setting on the Ajna Light, and that was for 11 minutes, and then I did a second drop. So then that was within 20 minutes or so of each other, 30 minutes. And so I had the 2 sessions. And the first one, they seemed slightly more vivid, maybe more colourful than a normal Ajna Light session. I own my own Ajna Light, so I go under it pretty much every day, so I'm very familiar with it. And so the light setting was the same. It was actually the same setting I normally use at home every day, which is about somewhere in the 20%. Yeah, so the first time it was more vivid, but then the second time became more sort of interesting. And actually what was even more interesting than both sessions was how I feel now afterwards. So there's this profound, intense concentration experience in my mind like I would normally get after maybe many, many days of meditating on a silent retreat. And like the busyness in my mind is is just sort of switched off, and I can just, and there's this sort of deep calm and a deep sense of stability with no concern, and a sort of a disinterest as well, along with a focused interest, if I want it to be, on somebody's conversation or whatever. So I find that very interesting. That doesn't normally happen to me just from a normal Ajna Light session. Maybe like a little bit, like I use Ajna Light 10 minutes or 20 minutes just before I meditate, and I find that puts me into a more focused zone. But this was a whole other level, what I've just had experienced here, and certainly the lights were more vivid, and there was this continual feeling of something being pulled apart in the session under the light. But like I said, what's been more interesting is coming out of it, and that was probably maybe 20, 30 minutes ago, and I'm still very much in this space of deep concentration.
Thank you.